So this episode, number 4 for season 7, probably the best quality episode to date. I can't really come up with too many complaints except for one, which is an overarching complaint, which I'm going to talk about primarily for this video, because I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. I've talked to a few people in the comment section back and forth about this same topic for a couple of episodes now, but I want to talk about it a little bit more this episode. But first, I just want to say this episode, like I already said, was really solid. I think it had good pacing, good storytelling. It actually accomplished something within the story for basically all of the characters in the big picture type of sense. And then for Negan's and Rick's relationship, however iffy that may be, we definitely got to see more of that, and it developed some. Rick's starting to get a little bit more pushy, I guess. Not pushy even, just defensive maybe even. I don't know, more than I expected him to do, given how crushed he was morally and almost physically. I didn't quite to see so much fight in it, however little it was. So that was kind of interesting to see. But didn't really show much other than, I mean, like, there was no shocking anything, no surprises, nobody died, nothing like that. So, for not having much happen, it was a good story. It was good progression. I liked it. I thought it was a good quality episode. I will say, even if you do like Negan, which I'm kind of on the fence, like, he's definitely a bad guy. Like, it's really hard to root for him like it is to root for the Joker. He's a bad guy, but he's still somehow, you still want to like him. You still kind of want him to see his plan come to fruition. Whereas Negan, they're really hammering home how bad he is. And I get that. That makes sense. I mean, it's probably a really realistic interpretation or visualization of a bad guy in this scenario. So I get it. I'm not complaining about that. But it makes the show unpleasant to watch almost. So, again, I get that. They want us to feel the way that people would feel in Rick's group, that kind of thing, in Alexandria. So I get it, but I don't know how long that can last. I don't know. Maybe they're going to keep mixing in episodes where it's more lighthearted, like with the Kingdom, that kind of thing. But if we go through this whole season just basically getting hammered over the head with how bad this situation is, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be entertained, and while it's a high-quality show, and if the episodes are all as good as the last one, it's going to be a high-quality production, but I don't know if I want to keep watching it. Does that make sense? Let me know what you guys think about that. But that's not the thing I wanted to ask you guys about. The thing I wanted to ask you guys about is this whole thing about defying Negan, or fighting back against Negan. And the reason I want to spend most of what I'm going to talk about tonight on that topic is because we saw so many times this episode instances where it would not have been hard for people in Rick's group at Alexandria to just kill Negan. That's it. And yeah, sure, maybe the other guys would fight back. Maybe they wouldn't because their boss is dead, so they don't really have anything to lead them or to give them motivation to fight. We don't know, but we know Negan's a super bad guy. As he so eloquently phrased to Rick at the end of the episode, he's not treating them nicely, let's put it that way. So you can't really go worse from that. And if you kill Negan, the direct threat of violence upon people is at least somewhat mitigated. So why aren't they doing it? That's my question. Why is nobody, and apparently the Hilltop's been dealing with Negan for a while, the Kingdom also, why is nobody taking out Negan? I understand the argument that, yes, maybe most of Negan's followers, the saviors, don't want to do it because they're getting rewards for his behavior, his bad guyness. They're getting a nice life for that. So many people probably are okay with that. But then you have people like Dwight who basically have no choice but to be on board, or people he loves, or even himself, stand to be in harm's way. So even if that's the case, nobody at Negan's camp wants to take him out for whatever reason, whether they're on board or whether they're afraid, whatever. They don't want to do it. I get that. Everyone else should, though. Everyone at Alexandria, everyone else at Hilltop and at the Kingdom should be trying to take out Negan. They're not. And in this episode, there are many opportunities where people in Rick's group, and we're going to talk about one in particular, have that opportunity and just totally ignore it. Why? Just for the sake of having a bad guy on the show? I get that. But if you're going to keep your bad guy around just for the sake of having a bad guy, don't put him in situations where he should be getting killed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind them needing a bad guy so they keep him alive. That makes sense. That's TV 101. You need a bad guy. Bad guys always win because you need to have a bad guy for the good guys to fight. If the good guys won, there'd be no story. I get that. But you can write it in a way that doesn't constantly show the audience that the people are just making stupid decisions or unrealistic decisions. So, case in point, the one I wanted to reference specifically. Carl's got a gun on, was the guy's name Davey? I think it was, on one of Negan's goons. Negan and Rick come in. Carl's getting all bravado. He's showing off, saying, I'm gonna shoot this guy. You guys were only supposed to take half. You're taking more. Put it back. First of all, I'm thinking, Carl, come on. Come on, Carl. You saw what happened. You almost experienced what happened. Like, that's not a smart move. Do what they say, because you're not going to do anything about it. Maybe you take out one guy, and then everyone else gets murdered. It doesn't make sense. Don't do that. But that's a separate topic. Way to go, Coral. Way to go. He's holding the gun at the bad guy. The bad guy's standing in front of him. Rick and Negan come in. Negan standing basically next to the guy Carl's pointing the gun at. All he had to do, and nobody could have done anything about it. Nobody could have done anything if Carl just went, bam. That's it. Bad guy's gone. Maybe the goons are still around, but they're just goons. They are not going to have the same power that they have with a leader. We've seen it in every TV show since the history of TV shows or movies or any media, really. Once the guy in charge gets taken out, yes, somebody will fill his place. You can't have a vacuum. That's fine. But that present danger is gone. And that's the way that it should have played out. If you don't want to kill him, don't put him in that situation. That's all I'm saying. So why aren't the good guys doing it? It has to be what I said. Just that they don't want to kill Negan off for the sake of the show. I don't like it the way it's being presented in that regard. I'm curious what you guys think. How many times did you think, why didn't they just kill Negan? I thought it a bunch. I'm curious. I am curious. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about and hear your guys' thoughts on it. So two things, I guess. It ended up being two things. Why aren't they killing Negan? How do you feel about that, I guess? However you want to talk about it. Just that topic in general. And how do you feel about the show being the way it is? The whole tone, the mood, the story even. To me, it's almost unsettling for an hour and a half, as it was last night. To watch, not unsettling. It's not like I feel bad afterwards or anything, but it's like the whole time I'm watching it, I feel uncomfortable. That's a good way of putting it. I don't know if that's going to work for me. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that do like horror movies and things like that. And maybe this is appealing to that audience. I don't know. I'm not that way. I don't enjoy that kind of stuff. I would rather watch something where even if it's not like a good situation, you still have like that bit of hope to root for the good guys or to even like the bad guys a little bit or something. I don't know. I'm not feeling any goodness in these episodes of late. At least the ones that feature the saviors primarily. So, I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that. But it's an interesting dilemma. I've never actually felt this way about a TV show before. I think it's a high quality, at least these last episodes have been particularly high quality, but still somehow I don't really want to watch them. I don't know. Hopefully you guys get what I'm saying. So let's talk about those two topics. I'll stop rambling. Make sure you leave a comment in the section below. I said it in a weird way again. Whatever. You guys get the point. We'll talk in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next episode.